Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
I am McLovin.
This is Three is Company.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
Welcome into Three is Company. I am Q-Tip. Of course, we have Preston Poole and Kylie Osborne alongside with me. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at Q-Tip47, at Preston Poole 405, at Kylie Osborne. If you haven't already, go check out our beautiful faces as we are on YouTube, the Sports Animals YouTube page, the Sports Animals Facebook, and the Sports Animals Twitter, or X if you're nasty, pages as well. Our Twitter handles are on there if you would like to, drop us a follow. We appreciate all the follows, all the messages, all the mentions. We are here for them all. And we take them in suggestions. I mean, we take them in and we read them here on the air. We'll take in your top 5 suggestions, any content suggestions. If you guys want us to talk about a certain subject, get a certain guest on, please follow us on Twitter, shoot us a message. We will do our best to, listen to you. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Preston's running out of ideas, like he is hats. So we need you.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do the whole new one every episode. So if you have hats out there, send me one and I'll wear it.
Yeah, Preston will pimp himself out easy. All you got to do is give him a hat.
Yeah,
that's all you have to do.
This ad space is for sale.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I have so many hats somewhere. No idea where they're at. Like, I have a good collection of hats, like 89ers hats, Masters hats, Sooner Scoop hats, Dallas Cowboy hats. No idea what to do with them.
Yeah. I mine are strewn all over my.
You got to get a Three is Company hat.
Yeah. If you're a printing company and you want to sponsor us, please find us on Twitter and we'll connect you with our people, and then we'll tell our people, hey, don't charge so damn much. But I am, if you are watching, I'm still in the petting zoo. There is the fish tank behind me, the plants behind me. There's dog cages out on the side, and the reason I'm still in the petting zoo over here in Kaylee's office, just in case you're curious, I'm not actually in a petting zoo. I know I have lived in a zoo before, but I'm not actually living in a zoo.
Sounds like she's in the room and heard that. Or like
she was closing the door. She was tired of hearing me talk. But my office is going under renovations because we're having to move the dog cage in there. By the way, we got this dog. We got this new puppy. Her name's Harley. She's a golden retriever. And when we got her, we were like, well, let's buy a cage one cage so we never have to buy her cages again, right? So instead of buying like a little cage, a medium cage, and a big cage, she's supposed to be a big dog, let's just buy a big cage. And of course, we bought the biggest cage possible, and that was a mistake because trying to move that around my house is a pain. It's a major pain. So we moved that cage into my room, and the reason we're having to do that is because we got this couch, right? So let me tell you the story about this stupid process of getting this couch. Okay, this is one of 2 rants. I got 2. Well, the other one's short, I promise, and then we'll get into the sports. Okay, so we get this couch, right? And when we went shopping for this couch, it was Black Friday because we were trying to get a Black Friday deal on this couch. It's at a place that a lot of people drive by. I won't out them because I have nothing good to say about them right now. But let's just say, our brothers and sisters know where to find this place. Okay, so and if you hopefully you picked up on the first word I said there. But anyways, so they tell me this couch is supposed to be delivered the last week of December. Perfect. Okay, cool. So we move into my house at the end of November. We are just kind of slumming it, and we're supposed to get the couch last week of December. And so we have a housewarming party with all of our family. We had this all planned. Turns out it's not going to be delivered the last week of December, right? And the only way I found out is I had to call them and ask, say, hey, I just want to make sure I get that couch delivered Christmas week. What can we do here? And they're like, actually, yeah, those parts haven't come in yet. It's like, oh, well, thanks for giving me a call. Really appreciate that. It's not like I was waiting on it to sit down or anything. So So
That's your problem though, not theirs.
yeah, exactly. So we have to get my old couch from Kaylee's mom's house in order to have this party, right? This old couch sucks. Like we bought it from Sam's Club, and while it served a good purpose at the time, it's a terrible couch. Anyways,
It's seen better days.
well, not even necessarily. It's in good shape. It's just like you need Velcro. It's one of those things that like the couch cushions slip out, type of situation. Anyways, so we're like, okay, cool. Let's we're gonna get it. They said you're gonna get it the first week of January, right? Cool. Okay, sure. So I call the first week of January. I'm like, hey, my couch in yet? So it got delivered, but they haven't checked it into stock. Okay. How the hell is something delivered? Like, how do you know it's in your delivery room, but it's not checked in? Like, riddle me that. Okay. Riddle me that. How is something in your delivery room? You have inventory of it, but it's not checked in? Yeah. Okay. Look, I wasn't born yesterday. All right. So I'm like, okay, cool.
They
So
forgot to press enter on the keyboard. That's why it wasn't there.
So I call back a couple days later. I'm like, hey, I was told my couch is there. Nobody's called me to get it delivered. What's going on? They're like, yeah, it can take a couple of weeks to get it actually put into the system. So yeah, your couch is gonna be delivered the last week of January. And every time I called back, they said, we have your coffee table though, right? Because I got a coffee table too. And they said, we have your coffee table. We can deliver that early if you'd like. I was like, no, I'd rather have everything all at once. Why would I have a nice coffee table with a $200 couch? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I was like, no, that's okay. They come and deliver the couch, right? Coffee table's destroyed all of a sudden. But somehow coffee table got destroyed on the way here. They don't have it, and they are gonna have to schedule a different time to come out and deliver it to my house, right? And so I'm like, cool. And then it's like it's a recline, like a sectional reclining couch, so it requires plugins. They didn't bring the damn plugs. Like, how do you get all the way to somebody's house without the parts? So now they've got to schedule a time to come out, bring the plugs for the couch and the coffee table, right? And no. It's not convenient to get this damn stuff delivered. Okay? No, because you know what time they gave me? You want to know what time they gave me to get this? On a Tuesday. A Tuesday.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
From the hour. I wish, because then it would give me, plausible deniability from 12:30 to 2:30. I'm not doing anything from 12:30 to 2:30. Nah, I'm completely free. I appreciate you taking me into consideration after every single time I've called up there, and they have, I've told them, hey, I work, can we like get this delivered later in the day if possible? Nah. I tell you what, you should take that suggestion, turn it sideways, and then we'll let The Rock finish that sentence.
Yeah.
So,
that's the perfect example of first world probs right there.
Well, hold on a second. I'm not done. Okay. So Kaylee takes off, and she comes home early from work. Everything gets delivered. They just drop the cords off, and Kaylee's like, okay, cool, thanks. I go to hook it up today, right? Still missing a cord. Still missing a damn cord to get this couch all plugged in so I can actually recline on it. Look, I get it. First world problems, cry me a river in your silk sheets. I paid good money for this damn couch that was supposed to get delivered 2 months ago, and they can't help a brother out, right? I thought they were supposed to be my brother, but no, they haven't. Okay, so I'm just pissed. I just wanted to get that off.
As much as it does sound like a first world problem, at the same time, I would be incredibly annoyed if I hadn't have a couch for 2 months, or at least one with cushions slipping out of it. So.
Dude, I've paid my mortgage twice, and I've had a couch to sit on, not recline in, sit on for what, a week? So yeah, I'm not seeing the perk of buying this house yet.
Long gone are the days where all you needed was a lawn chair and a PS5.
Dude,
and a TV.
I have my gaming
chair.
I'm
pretty sure he was the one who said that too. He was like, "Hey, give me an air mattress, a TV, a slice of pizza. Like, I'm good."
No, I've never. I don't think I've ever said air mattress. I got a bad back.
Don't we all? Yeah, don't we all?
I got a bad back. So, all right, that was just my rant. I just had to get it off my chest. It's like
gotta air it out.
I don't want to go to therapy, So I use this.
Yeah.
So I really
Just
appreciate
like
every single
virtual
A good
diaries here.
a good 10 minutes a week. That'll get you right.
Exactly. Well, let me get the next rant off my chest, but it's not as long, I promise. If you speed through school zones, you're a douchebag. Okay?
I saw your tweet on this. Yeah.
Dude, every single day I drive through 3 school zones and it never fails. The guy that, okay, if the speed limit's 40, that's fine if you go 40. Whatever. You want to abide by the law, all the power to you. First off, get out of the left lane if you're going to abide by the law. Okay. If you're going to go the speed limit, you belong in the right lane. Just simple. Okay. If you're going 35 and a 40 and you're in the left lane, you're a douchebag. Okay. Get out of the left lane if you're going to go under the speed limit. But if you're going to go 35 and a 40 or 35 and a 45, and then when we get to the school zone where it's 20, go 35 still and then like gas it so you can make a green light in a school zone, in the zone where this little group of humans don't look either way when they're crossing the street. Yeah, you're a douchebag. Okay, so slow your ass down in a school zone. It pisses me off every single morning, and it makes me want to roll down my window and scream, "What is wrong with you?" But make sure and throw a little adjective in the middle.
Yeah.
Not
no,
in the school zone, not with the children.
Well, I'm out of the school zone by the time I catch these
yeah,
people.
they're going so fast. Yeah, that drives me crazy too. I don't know why. I mean, you see the flashing lights. It's not like it snuck up on you.
Yeah, I know.
Sounds like these people just aren't paying any sort of attention.
No,
They are.
they're in too big of a hurry to get to their jobs that they're late to.
Clearly
and
not if they're going under the speed limit afterwards. I mean, they're just
Yeah,
like not
true.
paying attention to any. They're just guessing the speed limit.
And that's the thing. That's what pisses me off, right? Because I want to give them, the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, yeah, they're not paying attention. But whenever I see a guy that's going 35 and a 40, and then he kind of slows down for the school zone, but is still speeding through a school zone, and then the light, the light's been green for a second, and he gasses it to try to catch the green light, that just shows me you're paying attention. You're just a Richard, okay? Look, it's hard. It's hard not to say what I really feel about these people. If you want to know how I really feel, well, then we'll just have to catch each other at Henry Hudson's, and I can tell you. And if you're one of the people that likes to speed through school zones, really catch me at Henry Hudson's, and I'll tell you how I feel about you speeding through a school zone.
Threatening.
Mm-hmm. No, he's
I'm
not
sticking
threatening.
up
He just wants to inform
youth.
them.
I'm sticking up for the youth of America, okay?
Yeah, someone's got to do that.
Somebody has to do that, okay? Doesn't happen enough, especially in this state.
That's for sure.
Let's talk about some sports. I'm done ranting. Unless you guys have something. You guys want to rant about anything?
Nope.
You feel good?
I'm in
Life's
a good
perfect.
spot. I'm in a good
I've
spot.
got all
right
my
now.
couches.
Okay. Sorry. I'll take it sideways again. All right. Let's talk about some basketball. Let's start with some basketball, and we'll work our way up into the biggest story of the world, the Super Bowl, of course. So let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Oklahoma City Thunder, well, I don't know if you mentioned this during the podcast or before, but the month of January is over. And so if you're a Thunder fan, if you're a Thunder player, if you're a Thunder coach, broadcaster, anything, congratulations, you made it through, except for one broadcaster, one game short. So really mailed it in that last day. But the Oklahoma City Thunder 11-6 in the month of January. What are they? A half game out of first place, or maybe
I think one full game out.
Okay, so the Oklahoma City Thunder still in second place going into February, right there, right around the All-Star break, right around the trade deadline. And we talked about this during Christmas, Preston. We talked about this in October. We talked about this in November. We talked about this in January. We're gonna do it again. Okay, it's February.
Kick off February.
It's time to make a trade. It is time to make a trade and trade away some of these guards. Look, I have the privilege of listening to Jim Traber every single day as I drive home from work. And the man is in love with Aaron Wiggins. I mean, in love with Aaron Wiggins. Aaron Wiggins is what, the sixth best guard on this team, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's the 8th guy off the bench, probably.
Yeah. So, and if this guy's putting up all these numbers and he's impressing people, obviously, it's time to capitalize on the value and not just sit there and sit on your hands. Okay. Look, there's an obvious need for this team. If there wasn't an obvious need, then yeah, it wouldn't make any sense to trade away the picks. You can trade away the picks and hopefully get yourself like a a C-level star or like a B- kind of star to try to put your team over the top. That doesn't make any sense. It might mess up the team chemistry. I get it. But there is an obvious need for this team to get some size somewhere. And I'm not saying you have to go get a 7'1" guy, a 7'2" guy that's going to clog up the middle. Go get yourself a 6'10", 6'11" guy that can also get down there and bang a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want the Thunder to trade for some size. Look, I'm a hand up, size doesn't matter type of guy. Okay, I get it. But in this case,
it does matter.
It makes all the difference. So give me some size now.
I mean, I guess like I think they're going to make a move around the trade deadline, but I think the move is just going to be trading picks because they're one of like the 5 teams that control a bunch of picks in the next couple of years. So, I mean, their picks are going to get worked into a trade somehow as like the third team sending it to another team, but I just don't think they're going to get the big name guy. And not necessarily saying that you want the big name guy, but there's people out there that want the big name guy like a Lauri Markkanen or someone like that. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe they get a guy that will come off the bench. Obviously, he's going to come off the bench, but come off the bench. That's I'm trying to think of a name. Was it Stewart in Detroit? He just got hurt though, so he's out for a few weeks, I think. So I mean that's a hit there on that. Maybe you could get him for a little bit less than what originally if you were in talks with him. But I don't know. I mean, Olynyk is a name that I've heard like Al throw out there, listening to him, but I guess I don't know. I mean, none of that stuff really intrigues me around. This team's just playing too good right now to say that okay, they need this and that's going to fix all their problems. We don't know that. It might make them worse. So,
well,
I do think they're going to make some type of move.
I don't think they have any problems right now, and that's nice. But
rebounding, I will say, is a problem, but it's not glaring right now. In the playoffs, it's going to be a glaring problem, I bet. But right now, it's not like a massive, send the red flag up the pole and, we've got a big, massive problem. It's not that at the moment.
And a guy that, you mentioned the starting lineup, and if there is a guy and he absolutely wants to be a starter, I think it's okay if you take Josh Giddey out. I really do. I think Josh can come off the bench. He can lead the second unit, right? It's not like Josh is a scorer. It's not like he ever really looks to score. I think he's that perfect kind of point guard, point forward that could come off the bench, and then you could, replace Josh Giddey in the starting lineup. I'm not saying give up on Josh Giddey. I'm not saying trade Josh Giddey. I'm just saying I think if there's a guy or if there's a team that that would be really good for Josh Giddey's skill set of coming off the bench, it would be this team. Because you get Isaiah Joe and Josh Giddey running the second team offense. Yeah. Good luck trying to stop them, right?
And this is something Gideon said on the post game last night is there's a spot for Josh Giddey on this team. They're just still trying to figure that out.
Yep.
And it's kind of telling when, it's the final, 5 or so minutes of the game, he's not on the floor. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty telling of what they think of him in crunch time.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, so if you don't think that Josh can be your closer, which I would say closers are more important than starters, then what does he do? I think you could trade. I think you could capitalize on some trade value, right? He's still really young. He's been improving every year. And if you don't think he's the guy, to close a game, then should he really be the guy that starts the game as well?
Yeah. I just don't know if there's that massive emphasis on, we want this guy to be starting, just to put that at
yeah, but it helps chemistry
out there.
I mean, it for sure helps chemistry.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I mean, they know who they're playing in the final crunch time.
Yeah.
That's really all that matters, I think.
That's true. Well, speaking of the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think it's all but locked up that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should be the MVP of this year.
Depending how many games Embiid misses.
So Joel Embiid, the big story out of the NBA, says it came out that he has a torn meniscus, and those usually last about a month or two or so. I mean, with a guy that size, it could linger and last a little bit longer. Or maybe they're going to wait to bring him back. But I think he could only miss 11 more games or something.
He's only played 35 games, I think, this year.
Yeah, so he could only miss just a handful more of games. And with the news that came out of him tearing his meniscus, I think he's not going to be in the running. And if just in case you're wondering, why the hell wouldn't he be in the running? The NBA came out with a rule this year that says you have to play in 65 games in order to be eligible for the All Pro team or All NBA teams and the postseason awards. So with Embiid's injury, I think Shea was kind of clearly number 2 in the MVP voting, and maybe or MVP race. So, unless there's a massive drop off on the second half of the year after the All-Star break, man, I think we'll be celebrating another MVP trophy.
Yeah, and I don't know if he like officially tore his meniscus, but Woj did say he injured. So who knows what who knows what an injured meniscus is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it says he's going to be out through the weekend while they finalize the treatment plan. That doesn't sound very promising if I'm a Sixers fan.
No.
He's out for the weekend, but he might be out longer depending what we do treatment wise.
I got to be on. Okay.
That's kind of
else can you
scary if
injure a
you're a
meniscus?
Sixers fan. Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what else can you do? Like, ow, I bruised my meniscus.
You could sprain it, which is, I mean, I guess close to tearing it, but not fully.
I would still think that puts you out about a month.
Oh yeah.
So I got to be honest.
I mean, and just think about like Tyrese Halliburton pulled his hamstring, and he's still missing games.
Yeah.
I
think I forget. I saw that number the other day of how many he can actually miss, but. Yeah. I heard Jim and Al talk about it. And Al saying like Tyrese needs to play this many, play all the games. That way he can get the mega max because I think he's met all the requirements, or he will meet all the requirements by the end of the year, pretty much. He should make an all NBA team, and it's going to get him $40 more million whenever it comes contract time.
And he will play with the hamstring. It's just like he'll play like 2 games, miss 1. It's not like he's missing 3 or 4 straight games. Now when he did, and the All-Star break coming up too. But when he did like pull it originally, I think he missed like maybe 3 or 4 games before he was back.
That's when he did the splits, right?
Yes, I do believe. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just maybe like a month ago.
All right, Preston, we're gonna let you nerd out a little bit here. So,
talk about the biggest sports story in the world today.
Tell us about your hat.
Yeah, what's going on? What happened? I'll be honest. I looked it up a second ago. I have my questions, so I'm gonna let you tell the story, and then I'll ask my questions.
Yeah, I mean today essentially, and by the way, I like some foreshadowing. I bought this last week, and now, but Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes driver for the F1 team there. 7-time world champion, won basically all those with Mercedes because they were the not constructor, but they built the engine basically for every F1 car he's drove so far. So 7 world titles with them, and decides, I'm guessing this has been in the works for a few months, but it got leaked over the last couple of days, and everything was finalized today. But he's leaving Mercedes to go to Ferrari, which, for those that don't know, I put this in terms on Twitter to Tony Mellendorf, saying this is basically like Steph Curry being on the Warriors for all those years, winning all those titles, and he starts to see that they're on a down slope.
Mm-hmm.
So he jumps ship and goes to the Lakers, who have, all the talent in the world. They just haven't been able to get it done the last couple of years. Plus, they have the rich history of being the Los Angeles Lakers. It's essentially Lewis Hamilton. That's what he's doing.
So I guess that was my first question, was going to be, so I thought like, unlike NASCAR or like kind of any other driving circuit type of thing, there was like a clear top, right? Like I thought like Mercedes ran the top, and it was because their engines and their cars were so much better. So that's where I was confused about. Is like, why would a guy like you mentioned has won all these championships is going to a lesser car?
Well, in 2022. Right, because 2022, that season they changed all the regulations for the cars. So, and Mercedes didn't perform well when the regulations changed, and still haven't. So that's why they're on like a downward trend, if you will.
Okay.
Compared to, because right now Red Bull is dominating everything with Max Verstappen, and then Sergio Perez whenever he can finish a race. So Red Bull's the top one, and Ferrari would probably be the second one outside of their race strategy, which is just the worst of all time.
So, I mean, I don't know too much about F1 stuff either, but what I gathered from Twitter, it's mostly about the brand, though, right? Like, he just wants to drive for Ferrari because it's Ferrari.
I mean, there's a saying in F1. It's that every kid doesn't grow up. Every kid grows up and they paint their race car red, right? and Ferrari's
Like
are
the
red.
Ferrari red. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
And
that Mercedes hat's red, so
yeah, it's just because they sell it in this color. Yeah. It's some foreshadowing too. I might have thought that last week when I bought it, but no, I mean this is basically. I think their stock rose like 6% today after the news of Lewis Hamilton. So I mean that's like I don't know the exact numbers, but that's a massive move for them with that. And you know the same thing happened to Mercedes. While he's not the probably best driver on track at the moment, that's Max Verstappen. He's the most polarizing figure in Formula One because he's won so many driver championships and all that stuff. So and won the most races. He basically leads every category there is in the sport.
It's amazing that a driver like that can change the stock prices. He's going to drive like a regular Ferrari, or he's going to be in the warehouse building them.
Yeah,
so
it's insane.
Yeah, he's just gonna sign a good couple of them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just how massive the sport is. You know, and previously, but especially with the whole Netflix documentary. And you know them, an American company buying Formula One a few years ago and expanding in the United States. It's massive now, and was.
So let me ask you this, Preston: is he your favorite driver? Is that why?
Yeah,
you thought it was the biggest story in the world?
No, it is the biggest story in the world because like I said, he rose the stock of Ferrari just by them announcing he was going to be on the team. So
that's wild.
I was just curious. Well, so there's your F1 news. Drama. By the way, have you watched that new NASCAR Netflix series?
I am in the process.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm on episode 4.
Yeah.
I'm like
halfway
through.
I hadn't started it.
It's very good.
If you've watched the golf or the tennis or the F1, it's the same people made it, so it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
But I mean, I grew up on NASCAR. I've been to a couple of Daytona 500s and all that in my life, so I've watched racing my whole life. So I love NASCAR and I love Formula One. So
I've seen Talladega Nights. I mean, I know everything there is to know, right?
Basically.
That series just makes me want to go to Talladega, and go to the world's largest party. I mean, largest redneck party. I should say.
No, there's a bunch of tracks that I want to go to.
Mm-hmm. Bristol. I really want to go to Bristol. And I don't know if they're doing dirt still, or if they're going to be doing dirt going forward.
I think at Bristol.
Well, they were. I just don't know if they're going to continue.
Oh yeah, I think they are. But
so
this Sunday is the Coliseum race for NASCAR, so that'll be fun.
Racing. Are they doing like a preseason race? Because they're
it's like a preseason event. They started last year. They're doing it again this year at the LA Coliseum, where they do I don't know how many laps, but they go around for a couple laps and declare a winner. It's like the smallest track ever, obviously, because it's on a football field. But I mean, they're hitting each other all over the place, so it's pretty interesting.
I was about to say, I know the series it starts at the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I think that's the 18th or 19th of February.
It's like always the weekend after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks away. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I mean that's an awesome day. The Daytona 500 is awesome.
It really is. And let's speak of the Super Bowl. Let's talk about it while we are on the topic. Super Bowl going to be played between the Kansas City Chiefs after they beat the Baltimore Ravens, and then the San Francisco 49ers after they beat the Detroit Lions. I feel so bad for the Baltimore Ravens because I feel like they were the better team. They just made a couple of mistakes in what was a really close game, like Zay Flowers fumbling the ball and a couple other huge, big time mistakes, couple of timely sacks of Lamar Jackson. And I just feel like they were the better team. And the fact that they only lost by 7 after doing everything that they did.
Because that touchdown would have put them. I was doing the Thunder game, so I wasn't, hardcore watching.
I don't know if it would have tied. I think it put them down 3, and then Justin Tucker kicking the field goal would have tied the game. But
which, by the way, that whole pregame.
Look, I'm here for it. Okay, look, I know, if you're
me too. I would have thrown the helmet too, but just for coming from those two guys,
I was say if you're a Chiefs hater, it helps. But if you like rivalry football, especially two teams that could be in the same position next year. I mean, these are two teams that don't look like they're going away anytime soon. Like I love it. I'm here for it. If the Chiefs and Bengals, the Chiefs and Bills, Chiefs and Ravens, like if all these teams hate the Kansas City Chiefs and there's, just hatred every time they step into a playoff game, yeah, sign me up. I'm here for it. So
well, and they're not doing themselves any favor by adding, fuel to the fire after the fact on, all these talk shows and on their podcasts and everything else.
I thought it was funny because it wasn't the little slide that the Ravens did after they scored it. Doesn't Taylor Swift do that when the Chiefs? Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, I mean, it doesn't get more petty than that.
No, it definitely doesn't. Well, and it's for some reason, and I don't know if this is written like historically true. It just feels like when the Baltimore Ravens make a mistake, like did you see Zay Flowers cut his hand? Did you see that clip?
No.
So when Zay Flowers dove for the end zone and the ball got punched out, and he fumbled it on the goal line, they cut to him with his hand bleeding, right? And he was holding up his hand. His hand's just like gushing blood from his fingers. A wide receiver, by the way, who kind of needs his hands. And Jim Nantz goes, "Oh, it looks like Zay Flowers got cut on that dive to the end zone, right?" And I don't remember the sideline reporter. They cut to him, or they went to him. They're like, "No, he actually came to the sidelines and was punching the bench and cut his hand on the bench." And it just feels like the Baltimore Ravens never have any composure, right? When
didn't they have a flag in that game as well?
Yeah, they did have a flag and the flag was kind of a smart play because I think it was 1st and 5. I think they got like a offsides or a 12-man or something like that. It's 1st and 5, and the Chiefs weren't. The Chiefs were just trying to get a first down and then in the game. And it was 1st and 5, and so instead of them snapping the ball with it being 1st and 5, and the Baltimore Ravens only having 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, the Ravens were going to get another 5-yard penalty, come across, do offsides. Well, instead of coming across, tapping a guy on a helmet, or coming across and running at Patrick Mahomes or something and getting the flag, they just blew up the left guard or the right guard, and just threw him like 10 yards in the backfield. Like he landed, I think, where Pacheco was standing. And so instead of 5 yards and putting the ball at what would have been, I think, the 30 or the 35.
Yeah, it was 15.
Yeah, it was 15, and it put him like close to the 50-yard line. Yeah. So it's just like, even then, if they gain 10, 15 more yards or whatever, like they get a big chunk play, they're in field goal range, right? They gain 15, 20 yards, they're in field goal range. So, and then, they would have made it. Yeah, it would have made it a 10-point game. So just no composure every single year. And when Lamar Jackson gets down and it's in the 4th quarter, he just holds onto the ball. He just makes the mistake at the end. It's like, I think we talked about this. If the Chiefs are up in the 4th quarter, you can't. I think they're gonna win.
Even if they were down by a field goal, they still would have came back and won that game.
Yeah,
that's true.
Now I've got a question for you guys, because I'm definitely not this type of person, but I found out that our boss Cisco is. So he came up to the radio station that Sunday to show me how to do some behind the scenes stuff. And he had paused that Ravens game. And I had it on up there in the studio watching it during the Thunder game, and he said, "Don't give me any spoilers." Are you guys people that pause like sports events or anything like that so you can watch later and don't want any spoilers? Because I am not. If something happens, I'm like, all right, I'll just see the clip on Twitter or something later.
Does he not have his like ESPN notifications on? Like I feel like I'd see it.
I don't know. I could not
do
that. Yeah, I could not do that. Just like block everything out. I'm like, no, I need to know.
I got to be honest. I did that this weekend. I did that this weekend, but with the Royal Rumble, because I went out on Saturday night and the Royal Rumble was on Saturday night, and I was like, okay, Sunday. I was like, I'm not going to get on Twitter. So by the way, hardest thing ever. Every time I clicked on that Twitter app, like a spoiler would be right there. And I'd get out of it real quick, wouldn't read it, and I watched the Royal Rumble, but. When it comes to like football, I'm like, I usually have the game on like on my phone, like as I'm driving, so I can listen to it.
Yeah.
So,
the only thing I do that for is Formula One, but they start at like 7 a.m. and sometimes I just don't wake up to like 8 or 9. So
yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah, I could not do that. By the way, the Royal Rumble, I tuned in a little bit. to that, and those things are so damn long. That thing was 5 hours long.
The pay-per-views?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pay-per-views are long.
Miss me with that, man. Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, that's the good thing about watching it the day after, because you can skip through all the crap. Because they have the promo that builds up to it, like how we got here. And if you don't have Peacock Premium, then you have to watch commercials, which is stupid. But so you can skip all that. So that's nice. So that's
I was learning how to play poker that night in a buddy's garage, and I was like, the Royal Rumble's on, I'll turn on, and it was like, I don't know, 8:00, and they hadn't even started it yet, and I was like, what's going on here? And then like an hour later, they finally started it, and I was already just didn't care anymore. So
you missed out. You missed out. Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble.
Well, I knew that I saw him win it, but other than that,
you were learning how to play poker, though. Hold up.
Yeah,
I don't know how to play poker.
Well, then, okay, I'm gonna have to teach both of you now.
No, we played like
Hold'em or.
No, I played blackjack.
Yeah,
okay.
Whatever we were playing, I have no clue. I know how to play roulette.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I love a good roulette table.
Yeah, some of my friends tried to teach me how to play poker, but it was too late in the night. I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
So I spilled puppy chow all over the floor.
Yeah, we played like 2 free games. They're like, all right, you guys want to play for money? I'm like, no, I'll just watch.
No.
I'm not losing
we just
money.
used poker. We like dished out chips, but nobody ever paid in.
Yeah. I think we left before the game was over because both my roommates had lost all their money. I was like, all right.
That's tough.
Jeez.
You guys should have bet on like beers rolling down the roof or something.
I would have had a better chance at winning that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the San Francisco 49ers is going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl after beating the Detroit Lions, who just absolutely pissed down their leg.
It was so bad. So bad.
It was
that first half was phenomenal. And I bet that what's the dome called there where they were all at?
Is it Ford Field?
Yeah, Ford Field. I bet that place was just rocking. The Detroit Pistons just beat the hell out of the Thunder a couple hours before that. They all just walk across the street to Ford Field and watch the football game. And at halftime, I bet there wasn't a beer left in that stadium at halftime.
Yep.
And then it all just came tumbling down.
Yeah, just like the manufacturer, it just all left town. So I just I feel so bad for the Detroit Lions and the city of Detroit, because like you said, it was perfect. I mean, just absolutely perfect. And everybody's going to question Dan Campbell. And, you look at the grand scheme of things, they would have won the game if he kicks the 2 field goals. But that was the kind of team the Detroit Lions were all year long. They were going to put their foot on your throat, and they were going to try to push it down into the ground. I mean, they worked in the first half. It just didn't work in the second half.
And people were talking about him taking the risks and all that on the 4th downs. He's done it all year. I mean, it's the biggest game of the season outside of the Super Bowl. But if you're known as the risk taker and you take those risks in that game, I don't know if people can go out and criticize you for that, because that's what you've done your whole time as a head coach.
Well, and look at
you that far, yeah.
Yeah, you can look at the guy on the other side of the field. He was a high-flying, risk-taking offense, and in the Super Bowl, they were up 28-3 with him being the offensive coordinator, and he went conservative and tried to just play with the lead and hold on to it, and it ended up costing him. Yeah. So it's just I do feel bad for the Detroit Lions. It's going to be a lot of fun watching Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers in the prime time of the Super Bowl. And I'm fully expecting that piss that was in the Detroit pants is going to go into Brock Purdy, and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl.
That is just what sucks as a bona fide Chiefs hater, is that I know they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to sit here and have to say stuff that I don't want to say, but I'm going to have to, and it's going to break my heart.
So they win this one. What are we going to call it, Preston?
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
They win this one. What are we going to call it?
No, yeah, we'll cross. I'll say what needs to be said if they win.
Okay. All right.
If
so
they win, when they win.
February 1st, 8:50
50
p.m. Okay. And I know that we're trying to trick people. Okay. So it's like 10:30 or 10:40 when this actually is live. But you heard it. Okay. You heard it.
Hand to God, I'll do it.
All right, cool. So we can make these picks next week.
Yeah, I don't want to preview a game that's a month away.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks away. The Pro Bowl I know is going on right now. I heard I saw Baker Mayfield was killing the skills competition. So that's about all I know about the Pro Bowl. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a flag football game now, isn't it?
I care 0% about the Pro Bowl. I won't lie to you.
Fair enough. All right. I miss anything, or are we gonna get into our top 5?
Let's get into this top 5. I think it's pretty interesting.
All right. So our top 5 today is going to be the biggest sports stories in our life. But hold on a second, okay? Because there's a lot of sports stories like the gymnast scandal, right?
Yeah.
That I think you should be up there if you're talking about just like grand scheme of things. Because
this is more like what
Tyler, what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
The gymnast scandal, like whatever, athlete may. But like this is more meaningful, like in our lives, right? Stories to us. So we don't want to. We're not discrediting that story. Great thing that happened there. But this is just to us. This is truthfully, I'm going to use this to just rip on a couple of people. So I'm going to be honest. I tried to go a little bit different. Because I figured
I'm sure there will be a couple matching.
I figured there'd be a couple obvious ones, and I didn't put any of those. I did not put any college related ones on mine.
Okay, neither did I. Honestly, all mine are professional sports. So
so
I obviously have college ones, but I did. I tried to mix it up. I did try to get away from everything OU, so we mixed it up a little bit.
Well, I'm gonna start by hating on an OU running back, okay? But but it was whenever he was in the pros, okay? So DeMarco Murray leaving the Dallas Cowboys. All right. So look, I understand it's a business. I understand you're trying to make your money, and I understand that he's doing a great job recruiting running backs right now at the University of Oklahoma. But DeMarco Murray took the star off his helmet so he could go play for the damn Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, the Eagles. You could have gone to the Seahawks, to the Lions, to the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Patriots, the Bills, the Dolphins. You could have gone anywhere, but you went to the Eagles.
But don't you get some satisfaction knowing that it didn't work out?
He sucked. So good. I'm glad that he was nothing after he left the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, that's a better direction than I thought you were going to go when you said DeMarco Murray. I thought you were going the spray tan route, but you didn't.
Oh, no.
So yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
but I mean, in all seriousness, does it not feel a little bit better knowing that it failed there? Like it fell on its face?
You know what really makes me mad? What really just kind of grinds my gears here is the fact that we had to settle for Darren McFadden.
That guy sucked
next year, and we had to settle for him. He did suck by the time he got to Dallas. Okay, he was like 400 years old, and we wasted a year of Tony Romo.
Didn't they draft him?
Darren McFadden played for the Raiders.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. They drafted the other one, didn't they? Jones,
Felix Jones.
Yeah,
Felix Jones was a long time ago. Like
I thought they were
Felix
playing
Jones was before. Felix Jones and Marion Barber played together. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just naming off guys now.
Yeah. So
the whole thing.
DeMarco Murray ruining the Dallas Cowboys winning Super Bowl. Really appreciate that. Who's next?
Yeah. Okay. You sure? My number 5 is gonna be when the Tiger Woods. I don't know what you would call it. Scandal broke. That's I have it as Tiger Woods stuff on my list here. I can remember exactly where I was at. It was like Thanksgiving. We were in Nashville for something, and I just saw that pop across ESPN. And I was like, "Oh my god!" Because he was my favorite golfer growing up. I used to watch him every Sunday and Saturday, and that came out, and I was like, "That's something I did not expect." So that's like one of the first big and I say first. I was like, I don't know, 13 at that point, but it really stuck with me. I was like, "Oh my god, that happened."
I looking back at it, maybe there's something that I missed, but it's crazy that was such a huge story for a guy that was just horny.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay.
And I mean, same for me because obviously I was 13, so I never dove really into all the details. I just got what I got from SportsCenter and ESPN. So,
have you watched the HBO?
I have watched the HBO documentary. It was pretty good. Yeah,
bro, those TMZ reporters will do anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kylie.
Okay, so I kind of went the more positive route with all of mine and picking out.
None of mine are positive, I don't think.
Okay.
No, mine's
I'll
no.
keep like some more optimistic energy over here, because I kind of just picked like the moments I got most excited about growing up. So first, actually, I'll just go off of Preston's. Actually, I had this at a different number, but I'll go ahead and start with it. I picked when Tiger came back and won the Masters after the whole like crash and everything. I was a freshman in college, and I remember watching that at a restaurant with some friends of mine, and it was very exciting. And I got told the whole story from the stuff that I was too young to remember.
Yeah, no, that was. I mean, that Sunday was awesome. I just remember sitting in my apartment, just watching the whole entire round, and watching them win. So yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
I never actually watched golf too, like, and I understood it. So
I was about to say the same thing. I've never watched a round of golf until that Sunday. So yep, it's pretty good. So okay, hold on a second. So I might have to change one that I thought for sure was going to be on your list. You don't have a certain coach leaving on your list?
I actually chose not to do that just because I knew that I've said it too many times at this point.
I figured that would be on someone's list, so I left it out. But obviously, that is a big.
Okay, well let me just go ahead
on that.
Let me just go ahead because I can delete one of these. So let me go ahead and mention that one because that was a real what were you doing in that type of situation? So I remember that moment ever so vividly because it was right after Bedlam losing.
Well, and tell the people who you're talking about.
This is Lincoln Riley leaving the University of Oklahoma. And just up and leaving to go to USC, right?
High and dry, yeah.
Just surprised. So you remember it was after Bedlam. Kerry had asked that question that went viral about LSU. And because it was all the rumors that he was going to go to LSU, he was the next head coach of LSU, and Lincoln stopped him and said, I'm not going in. I think he said, well, I'm not going anywhere or something like that.
No, he said, I'm not going to LSU.
I'm not going to LSU.
Which he wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong. And
he wasn't lying.
So I think was it you and me, Preston? Me and Ravis that did Fantasy Island that morning on Sunday. Were you the producer at the time?
I don't believe so. I think I had just started at the Animal, so I wasn't doing anything like that yet.
So me, Ravis, God, I don't remember who the producer was.
Maybe Aaron.
It might have been Aaron. Yeah. We're just got done doing Fantasy Island. I went home, and I lived right behind the radio station. And I went home. I turned on the Red Zone on my TV, and this was a true guy's kind of apartment. And then I had my gaming set up kind of right next to it. Turned on my PlayStation 5, and was gonna play games, watch Red Zone all day long. And I hadn't checked my phone. Right? I think I had checked it for fantasy scores, hadn't been on Twitter. And I get a call from our boss at the time, Chris Baker, says, Q-Tip, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm sitting here watching football. What's up? He goes, I need you to get to the radio station, open the mic, and just start talking. And I was like, okay, any topic that you prefer me to talk about? He goes, look at Twitter.
And it's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. and so he said, look at Twitter. And so I went and looked at Twitter. I was like, oh. So I remember, I was shirtless. And so by the time I went and put on a shirt and got in my car, he called me back and said, Curtis is going to join you. And so I jumped. So, get up there, call Curtis, say, hey, you ready? He says, yep. We get on. We start talking about potential replacements. I've never had so many Twitter DMs. Never had so many Twitter messages. We've never had so many calls where I thought I've had to hit the dump button. And Kerry jumps on, Al jumps on, and Al just rips him. I mean, it was fantastic. And it was the fastest 2 hours of radio I think I've ever done. Me and Curtis had no idea what to do. We had no idea when to take a break. We had no idea what commercials needed to be run. ESPN's trying to play all the entire time that I'm on the radio. And it's a complete nightmare trying to run this thing because I have people that are about to drop the F-bomb. I have Curtis who has no idea what we're doing and trying to text me while talking on the radio. We're trying to get guests, and I knew exactly where I was in the moment when that happened.
Yeah. That's like the definition.
Entire state just completely was buzzing over that for a month at least, straight.
Yeah.
I mean, I woke up every day and that was one of the first things I thought about.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of the biggest sports stories around here in my life.
I think the rest of mine is I know exactly what I was doing. So that's
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you. I appreciate you leaving that off your list.
Number 4 for me, I grew up watching the MLB, a big baseball fan and all that. So Barry Bonds, whenever they were accusing him of steroids and the deer antler spray and all that stuff, that really stuck with me because I remember I think it was later that season he broke the record, or maybe it was a little bit before then that he broke the all-time home run record. I remember watching that, and I had my dad had got his rookie card back in the day when my dad was collecting baseball cards. He gave it to me, so I had that. And I was like, this is awesome. And then that comes out and obviously ruined the light that was shining on Mr. Barry Bonds.
Do you
and
still have the card?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, no, it's worth about a quarter. So yeah.
Dang, there you go.
Yeah. The guy leads
like
the league
$250,000
in home
just-
runs all time. Yeah.
Are you waiting for him to die? Like before you sell it?
No, I mean, like, it's not worth anything, so I'm just gonna hold on to it.
Oh, it's worth a quarter. I thought you meant a quarter of $1 million.
Oh God,
That's
no.
what I thought
Yeah,
at
no,
first
I-
too.
I thought you meant $250,000. I was like,
No.
what? What do you mean?
Like
It's
and
that, like-
quarter, like and quarter, 25 cents.
25 cents. Okay.
It might be like $1 or something now, but last time I looked it up a long time ago, it was like a quarter. So.
Interesting. Okay.
That
Okay,
we both thought quarter mil at
Yeah.
first.
No, I mean, if it was like signed and all that stuff, maybe, but I doubt it.
Have you ever gotten it graded?
No, it's been sitting in there since the 80s or 90s. I don't know.
Dude, I think you're sitting on a
Time
gold
to
mine.
go check it out. Yeah.
I'm not. I've got so many baseball cards that are from the era where they printed like way too many, and they're all just useless. But they're not useless to me, I guess, because I just hold on to the collection. So
Okay.
Oh.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
Okay.
Riley, what's number 2?
All right. This we're gonna go back to 2013. One of the first times like I actually remember genuinely like caring about football with my family, and it was not even an OU game. It was the 2013 Iron Bowl with Alabama and Auburn. I don't know if you guys remember what happened in this, but Alabama went to kick. It was like a 47-yard
oh yeah,
field goal or
the
whatever,
kick
and
six.
Pick 6.
Yeah.
Yep. And I just remember jumping up and down on the chair. My parents let me stay up late to finish watching this game. Like my whole family's jumping up and down, and I was just like, wait, football is actually cool. I understand this now. Wait, this is great. And yeah, so that is one of my very first like football memories. And then I think they went on to be in the national championship game, right? I can't remember if they won or not.
Yes, Auburn did, because Alabama lost to OU in the Sugar Bowl that year.
Yeah.
Which
Dude.
that makes me feel incredibly old. That's one of your first football memories. I'm like,
Well, it's
oh
not my first
God.
football memory. It's just that I
Yeah.
really was like, okay, wait, I
Okay.
understand, like,
All
you
right.
know,
That
everything.
makes
I
me
was
feel.
only 13 years old. I mean, I was a
No,
little
that
girl.
makes me feel a lot worse.
Little
was already
girl,
working.
okay? Like, I wasn't like in there watching football every single day, but you know, I watched the OU games, and that was about it.
To be fair, I didn't. I only watched like college football for a while. I only started watching the NFL like maybe 8 years ago. So
With my stepmom being an Alabama fan, I had left and like I went home. I was going home from my grandma's house, and my dad called me and said, "You gotta watch the end of this game," because I thought it was over. Like,
yeah,
okay,
no, it was insane. The call from the Auburn radio, and unfortunately, I think the guy is passed now.
yeah.
But that is just one of the all time. Like if in the new NCAA video game, there's like the historic moments in college football type of game mode, that's in there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So my next one's gonna be a little sad, but one of the biggest sports stories to me, anyways, is Kobe Bryant passing away, and that was one that again knew exactly where I was.
Yep.
Twitter broke. And I remember seeing one tweet about Kobe Bryant dying, and I was like, what happened? And I turned on Sports Center at my rental house and just watched all of the Sports Center coverage as they brought on
hours too.
Yeah.
Just
I don't
sitting
think I
there taking
turned
it in.
sports. I think I laid down on my couch that night and was
Yeah.
still watching Sports Center.
Yeah.
And the day that Kobe died was a day that I know exactly where I was, hearing all those great stories, seeing Twitter Twitter broke like 3 or 4 times that day. There's so many people tweeting out things. And I mean, that was one that was the most significant to me.
Yeah, I was at the grocery store and my mom like texted me and she's like, "Do you hear about Kobe?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I opened up Twitter and I was like, "Oh my god, I got to get home." And yeah, that
You
was
found out
just
from your
insane.
mom? Oh.
I mean, she texted me, yeah.
No, I know. I just mean that's like almost like kind of more sad. No, I think I told you. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I think I told you guys this story like once, maybe way, way early, like maybe a whole year ago. But I was dating a guy when Kobe, that whole news about him happened. The day before that, he had actually given me his like Kobe jersey, and he said I could keep it. And I was a sophomore at the time, so I'm living in a sorority house, and he comes over the next day, is knocking on the front door of the sorority house, crying. It's like,
You needed
"Can
that
I
damn
have
jersey
my
back."
jersey back?" Yeah. So that's how I found out.
That's fair.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I would have gotten it back too.
Number 3 for me is probably one of the biggest sports stories to ever hit the States. And that is July 4th. What was it, 2015?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that one later. So I'll let you have your comment.
Kevin Durant decides to head out west to the Golden State Warriors and leave the Oklahoma City Thunder high and dry. It was obviously a massive day. Outside of, I think, Bob Stoops retiring and Lincoln Riley leaving, was the biggest sports day story of my lifetime here in Oklahoma. And I just remember being at the lake and didn't really get service. Someone told us, and I was like, "You're lying." And we had to immediately go and find cell phone service so we could figure out if it actually did happen. And it did.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll comment on it later. That's my number 1.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
I've got some thoughts.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Completely unrelated to Oklahoma or any sports that we usually talk about. When it was 2012, I believe, Gabby Douglas was the first Black gymnast to win the Olympic gold medal for the all-around individual, and they also won the team medal for USA that year. When that happened, I was really excited about it. My whole family watched it live together. It's just one moment that I remember really specifically. And then the next day we went and adopted a puppy, and we actually named her Gabby after Gabby Douglas. So
that was 2012 Olympics.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, in
the
London,
first time she won. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I didn't think the Olympics would make an appearance here, but I'm glad.
Yeah, I mean, I still have my dog. I mean, Gabby's kicking it. So
there you go.
Fair. All right, this is number 2, right? That's where we're at.
Yep.
Number 2 is COVID. I'll never forget.
Another work story, I assume.
Another work story. So I'll never forget. I was driving. I actually wasn't at work. I was driving, and I had just become a morning animal, by the way. So I started being a morning animal in November, and COVID happened in March. So like just catching the groove, and then it just atom bomb everything, right? And never forget driving from my mom's house, or not from my mom's house, to my mom's house. I had turned on the Thunder game at home, and she texted me and said, "Hey, can you come and help me like hang up something?" I don't know what she asked me to do. And I remember driving there, and then Rudy Gobert the day before was like, "Oh, by the way, here's all this COVID stuff." Touched every microphone,
every single mic at that press conference.
Yeah. Every single mic at the press conference, and I remember talking about it that morning, and then Matt Pinto saying, "It looks like there's something going on the floor. I don't know what's happening." And that call, I was almost to my mom's house, and I sped. I think there was like a yellow light that I probably shouldn't have gone through.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I got to get there. Got to my mom's house. She was watching something. I was like, I gotta have the TV for a second. Turned on the TV and watched them cancel that game. And I remember texting Curtis
then immediately canceling all the rest of the game.
Exactly. And I remember because Phil was going to Vegas. So I was responsible for putting all the content together for the show the next morning, for the morning show. I think that might have been my first week that I was, or no, I think it was my second time doing that. And just going to bed, like getting all that coverage again, then going to bed and waking up, I think at 2:30 in the morning, because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I think, Preston, you were cutting stuff at
No,
the
I
time.
had I
No?
hadn't even started up there
Okay,
yet. No.
so I just remember I was like, I just got to get up there, and I just went
Yeah.
up there, and I spent hours and hours of cutting every single bit of audio that I could find about COVID shutting the world down,
Yeah.
and then that led to months with no sports, and I was on a sports morning show, so we had to get creative, which was a lot
Yeah.
of fun, but yeah, COVID was one of those
I
made me exactly where I was.
I remember that moment watching the game on TV where they're like, well, the game hasn't tipped yet. We don't know what's going on. And everyone's texting everyone saying, you know what's going on at the Thunder game? And then everyone leaves the floor. And I assumed, I was like, well, I bet that might be the big C. And it was. And then now look where we're at. So yeah,
Yep.
that's been a wild.
You made it through.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's only been 4 years ago. It feels like it's been a lifetime.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
My number 2, this is one that really struck me as a young Cardinals fan, is Albert Pujols leaving the Cardinals to head to the Angels for all the money in the world and no World Series
I
rings.
thought that for sure would be number 1.
Huh?
I thought for sure that would be number 1.
I've got another one on there that I think that might be pretty big. So yeah, that's number 2 for me. That he was my favorite player growing up. Always acted like him on the baseball field and all that, played first base, all that. And yeah, that stung whenever he left.
Yep.
So I think it was like on or close to my birthday when he decided, and I was just heartbroken.
What are we at? Number 2? Okay, all right. Number 2 for me is got to be, it's kind of over the course of my senior year of high school, freshman year of college. It was when Baker and Kyler won back-to-back Heismans. That was really cool. I mean, it's just one of the coolest little moments in OU history that I experienced, and happened to be right as I was about to go to the university. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's only been 3 schools that have done that. Obviously, Ohio State had the same guy win it twice in a row, and then OU and then Alabama did it a couple of years ago. So that's a incredible feat for sure.
All right, my number 1 is going to be the Snake.
The Snake, Kevin Durant, the cupcake.
I got to be honest with you guys. All right, only Oklahoma City jersey I've ever owned. Okay. We were burned so badly as Thunder fans. I've never bought another Thunder jersey.
Did you light that jersey on fire?
I can't tell you on this podcast what I did.
I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah, what I did with that jersey. I was 18 years old.
So nothing good.
17. I was 17 years old. I was 17 years old because I was going to turn 18 later that month because it was 2016. And I, what 17-year-old boys do, you need a rag. And that's what those two jerseys were.
That's too far.
So I have never owned an Oklahoma City Thunder jersey. Again, that was one of those, I was laying in bed. I got the ESPN notification, right? Nothing will break your heart like an ESPN notification off the top rope.
Yeah.
I get the ESPN notification.
Or a good Woj bomb.
I turn on the TV, and there it is, the Players Tribune cover right there.
My next chapter.
For everybody to see, and I have never, ever, will ever forgive what Kevin Durant did to Oklahoma City on America's birthday. Okay? So not only did he leave like a snake that he is, and then he wants to cry and go, why does OKC hate me? Because you're a jackass, okay? You've done nothing but trash the city and then wonder why everybody hates you here, okay? If I were to join a different podcast and then talk crap on you two, and then 5 years from now, whenever you guys are more successful than I am and everybody gives you more credit than me, and I'm like, well, I don't understand why they hate me. I would completely understand why you hate me. Okay? I would get it. But he refuses to think that he did anything wrong with how he treated Oklahoma City afterwards, how he treated the players that were here, how he treated the entire situation. He went to a team that he just choked a 3-1 lead to. Okay, a team that just won 73 games, which is an NBA record, by the way, just in case you didn't know about that damn Golden State Warriors team. They made NBA history that year. Okay, just so you know. Breaking news. breaking news. So whenever he leaves to go there, it's like, first off, he ruins basketball for the next 4 years because who the hell is going to beat the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant? Nobody. Okay? He ruined Steph Curry's legacy. Nobody's ever going to think Steph Curry is as great of a player as he actually is because 2 of those rings are with Kevin Durant in the easiest NBA seasons of all time. All right? And I think that shows more of Steph Curry's greatness than what people want to give him credit for. Conversation, different day. But no, this guy just on America's birthday decides to ruin all of Oklahoma City's heart. Okay, he decides to break it. He decides to stab everybody in the back, and then he goes on a media tour for the next 4 years, talking about how how much he hated Russell Westbrook, how much he hated Oklahoma City, how soft he is that we called him a cupcake. Look, you leave the Knicks like that, you leave the Lakers like that, you wish you were called a cupcake. Okay, Oklahoma City did the nicest thing possible calling you a cupcake because there's a million other things that I'd love to call you. All right, and when you came back, I hated it. All right, so no, whenever people bring up Kevin Durant's going to have a statue, Kevin Durant's number is going to be retired in the rafters, I will puke. Okay, I hope they announce that on July 4th so I can have the same feeling that I had in 2016 whenever I absolutely hated the man because it's never, ever going to stop.
8 years later and still the same emotions.
Dude, it's just like the fact, I'm over him leaving, okay? I'm over him leaving. What I'm not over,
sound like it to me.
What I'm not over is the fact that this guy sits there and plays victim all the time. Like, he comes back to Oklahoma City.
Hang on. Let's breathe.
No breathing. I'll breathe whenever you tell your number one. No, this guy comes back to Oklahoma City. He gets booed, and he's like, these fans are classless. No, you jackass. You were classless for leaving us on America's birthday. You were classless for going to New York and saying all the things about Oklahoma City. You were classless whenever you went. And who did he say? Didn't he say Kendrick Perkins was a top 5 teammate of all time instead of Russell Westbrook? No, you were classless in all of these things. So if you can't take a boo and you can't take getting called a cupcake, that just shows how soft you actually are. And your rings still don't count.
All right, my number one is my number one sports story is the Oklahoma City Thunder trading Paul George, and becoming one of the best teams in the Western Conference. 5 years later, 4 years later, something like that. At the time, though, I immediately was hungover because we were at the lake when this happened, and B, I was like, we're finished, we're done, it's over with. Like, they're not going to win the title ever, and now
that's the funnest season of all time with Chris Paul and
and that was awesome. Obviously, derailed a little bit by COVID, but I mean, after that, making it to the first round of the playoffs and kind of the emergence of Lou Dort in that playoff series there, it turned into one of the best moves probably in NBA history trade wise. So
they got to win a championship first, Preston.
Well, yeah. Obviously, yes, but I said probably, yeah.
Well, if Sam Presti's just going to sit on all these picks, it's not going to do anything.
All right, we're running out of time, Kylie. What's your last?
Let's wrap it up on a very simple, happy note. My number one has got to be the Caleb Williams OU Texas, a couple years back. Incredible game, awesome comeback. I still think about Marvin Mims and kicking his legs after the little touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's simple. We can wrap it there. We can end it on that.
Yeah, that was one of the best games I've ever seen.
That was the longest radio broadcast I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for us. At Preston Pool 405, at Kylie Osborne, at KD's a Snake, at QT47. This is 3 is Company. Make sure to go follow us on Twitter.